Okay, here we go. So, as I like to say with these things, as long as everything is working the way that it should be working, we are now live. So, hello and welcome to everyone who is watching the Writerish Melanin channel, wherever this day may have found you. I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Chelsea, and I'm here with the one, the only Audra Russell, who I guess is trying not to laugh while she's choking on peanuts. I don't know. And we are here for another Melanin Chat, y'all. And I am paranoid about this screen because it's in a new place and things are different. And that's why we're late, because things are different on my end and I had to reset things up from scratch. So fun. Anyway, how are y'all doing this morning? Audra? You okay? Doing all right?
Peanuts are sticky.
Okay.
And I got the water.
See, that's where you messed up, man.
It was at this moment she realized she messed up.
At this moment, she realized she has not made the best decision.
Not the best decision at all. So I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired. I have been on vacation. So this is the first
You're
day back.
supposed to be refreshed. You ain't supposed to be tired.
You know what? You know what vacation did? It made me realize that I do far too much.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot. So it was very relaxing. Had a good time. But also the way I was not ready to come back and do life. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. But
I feel that. Yes.
But before we get into the chitty and the chatting, I want to say good morning to everyone who came in. Hello, Felicia, Benjamin, La, Jay, Vina, Ash, Cameo. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys are thriving. Let us know how you guys have been in the comments. I don't know why this chat isn't showing up. I need y'all to know that everything this morning has been a struggle for me. I just need y'all to know that. Thus far, this morning has been, I don't know. I feel like it hates me.
Good morning, everybody.
I am going to try to get this chat working on screen, but y'all know how this is, so
Yep.
yeah, we will see. We will see. That being said, let me actually find it. Chat box. There we go. Add source. As I'm playing with this, I'm going to actually get us started. I'm all over the place, y'all. Ignore me. Whatever. I'm doing my best. Shit. What was I saying, Audra? Books.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it. Books.
Something like that.
We got books to talk about.
Why are you yelling though?
Because apparently I'm stressed, and that's what I do when I'm stressed.
You just got off vacation, ma'am. You're not supposed to be stressed yet.
Supposed to and are two different things.
Good morning, Fatima.
Good morning. And I got the chat working, so boom. There we go. Win for Chelsea. High five.
How? High five. Oh.
Yes.
Wait, let's time it. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
All right, you guys. Spotlights for today. I'm going to let Audra go first because she hates it, and then I'm going to go after her. Wait a second.
You see how you be choosing violence?
I like to choose violence. Also, you guys, apparently it's not working, so give me a second, because today, when I tell you that today is working against me, it's working against me, you guys, so give me 2 seconds.
Ooh, SD Houston. I'm not sure. Please forgive me. I hate butchering people's names.
Houston, I think. Heston?
Okay. Said, made friends with the like button. I'm streaming to and attending Pro Writing Aid's free science fiction week, a conference. Woohoo!
Ooh, fun.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, you guys. So basically, what done happened is, I gotta. Normally, I have like one big screen or whatever, but I upgraded 2 monitors and Ben got the big screen. So now everything that was set up for the live stream is off. But the thing is, I can't actually adjust anything until we're actually live streaming. So instead of doing all this in real time, I'm gonna just add Audra's book to the screen, and we're just gonna, do it like the classic Melanin Chat for today, if that's okay with you guys. So
I mean, it's your show, Chelsea.
I know it. That's why I'm just telling you to be nice, doggone it.
Would you like me to go while you're doing the clicking and the clacking?
Yes, because I have your book up on screen, so go for it. This is you. This is all you, ma'am.
Okay, so y'all know how I do. Usually my book coincides with the show that I post. So she's not an indie author. She's traditionally published, but it's a beautiful children's book called Good Things. The episode is up. It dropped this morning, so please go to betweenthereads.com after Melanin Chat is over and check out the interview. It's great. And it goes something like this. Malcolm loves everything about his dad, Pops. The way he looks out for everyone in the neighborhood, the way he always seems to know the right thing to say, and especially the way he cares for his plants. Malcolm has dreamed of having plants that will grow as big and healthy as Pops. Making that into a reality is turning out to be much harder than he thought. To keep him going, Pops reminds Malcolm that good things take time. But when Pops unexpectedly passes away and his plants are left to Malcolm, Malcolm feels there's too much responsibility on his shoulders and hurt in his heart. With Good Things, Mariah Green tells a tender and honest story about loss, hope, and memory, while gorgeous and colorful illustrations by Aliana Harris bring this world to life. And y'all, this book was so sweet because in it, you know, we talked about it in the show, but in it, Malcolm's family is like, it's his dad and his grandmother that he lives with. And when his dad passes away, you know, his grandmother kind of helps him through. But it's this sweet book that uses plants to process grief. And I love the way that it was done in a way that little kids can, you know, maybe put a finger on what they're feeling if they've lost a parent or a loved one. And it's just a really great book. And I really enjoyed reading it. Hey, DL. So, if you need a good children's book that deals with loss in a I don't want to say a lighthearted way, but in a way that's not overwhelming for kids, this is a book to get. And she's a plant doctor, and her story is very interesting. So definitely check out the interview to see how this book came to be. But she's a plant doctor as well, and it's just she's a very interesting person, and the book is great.
So is it like a picture book or is it like a middle grade book?
It is a picture book for kids. Yep.
Okay. Cool. So y'all know that there is a link down in the description box below. So for sure, click on it, check it out. It is an affiliate link. So y'all know that means that, you know, if you get it, you be helping support the Melanin Library. Y'all all about that because y'all here. So that being said, my book is Forever Is Now by, and I'm going to try not to mess up her name, but Mariama Lockington. This is a young adult novel in verse. And honestly, I just found it on TikTok and the cover is so pretty. Like, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. But that being said, y'all already know I have no idea what this book is about. So let's read the description for the first time together. All right. A poignant and lyrical young adult novel in verse about a Black teen coming of age in an anxiety-inducing world from the author of For Black Girls Like Me and In the Key of Us. I'm safe here. That's how Sadie feels on a perfect summer day wrapped in her girlfriend's arms. School is out, and even though she's been struggling to manage her chronic anxiety, Sadie is hopeful better times are ahead. Or at least she thought she was safe. When her girlfriend reveals some unexpected news and the two witness a violent incident of police brutality unfold before them, Sadie's whole world is upended in an instant. It's not safe anywhere. That's how Sadie feels every day after. Vulnerable, uprooted. She retreats inside as the weeks slip by and relies on her phone to stay connected to the outside world. When Sadie's therapist gives her a diagnosis for her debilitating panic, agoraphobia, she starts on a path of acceptance and healing. Meanwhile, Sadie's best friend Evan updates her on the protests taking place in their city. Sadie wants to be a part of it, to use her voice and affect change. But how do you show up for your community when you can't even leave your house? I can build a safe place inside myself. That's what Sadie learns over the course of one life-changing summer with some help from her family, her best friend, an online platform for activists, and a magnetic crush she develops for the new boy next door. From Stonewall From Stonewall honor-winning author Mariama J. Lockington comes Forever Is Now, a powerful young adult novel in verse about mental health, love, family, Black joy, and finding your voice and power in an unforgiving world. So, I had no idea what the book was about, but the cover is pretty. So if that's like what you're into, for sure, check it out. I am a sucker for like a novel in verse because I don't know. I am not a poetry girl, but I like novels in verse because they tell a story, and I'm very much the type of person who like say what you mean, and I feel like novels in verse just say what they mean. So,
Chelsea.
I'm serious. I like poetry that's like, if you're ranking poetry from like level 1, is very like basic poetry, like what you learn in 3rd grade when you're learning about it for the first time. And there's like level 10, which is like high level thinking. It's metaphors within metaphors within metaphors within metaphors. I'm like at a 2. If your poetry is like at a level 3 or higher, goes right over my head. It's not for me. But that's okay. I respect the skill. I just can't appreciate it the way it probably should be appreciated. That's all.
If it's not in like a Dr. Seuss rhyme, I can't mess with it too much. I will say there's one poet I like, Langston Hughes. But even his work, I still have to sit and I have to think about it. I have to sit with myself, and I don't like that.
Yeah, nah. Also, want to shout out Samantha DL, Joanne. All you guys came in. Hello, welcome. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day. And regards to my hair, this is a $20 wig off of the internet, you guys. It's cute. I like it. It's burgundy. It's not quite pink.
Pretty.
Thank y'all. But fun fact, my actual hair is a darker shade of this color now. I dyed it over my vacation. So it is completely different.
Are you going to tell us what else you did?
Oh, I also locked it while I was gone. So now I have comb coils in to actually lock my hair, and part of it is this color. So it looks different. The green it was a season, but now that the second book is released, we're moving on to a different season. So that's okay though. We all like change. We all like change.
Listen. Change is a good thing.
Yeah. And green is still my favorite color, so it might come back, But for right now, this is what it is.
You could dye your eyebrows green.
No, I'm not.
Just a suggestion.
No, I can't. It's not a possibility.
Just, know.
No.
Halloween.
No. Absolutely not. What I look like walking around with red hair and green eyebrows. What?
Like, okay, for Christmas. Then we do it for the holidays. There we go.
See,
Happy
you
Kwanzaa,
fundamentally misunderstand me. My whole head could be green as it was at one point, and my eyebrows will still be black.
I was just making a suggestion.
And I was just politely rejecting your suggestion. But if you want to, I'm not going to stop you. You can dye your eyebrows green.
Nah, I'm
See how I feel? See how I feel?
I was just saying, if you needed to have some green.
No, I don't actually feel that way. It's really interesting because I feel like the internet is an interesting place because obviously everyone on the internet doesn't know me, but the green hair was just because I felt like it, because green is my favorite color. It had nothing to do with my brand or my books or anything like that. It just so happened that 1 and 2 lined up. That was it. But I need y'all to know.
I know that people are going to say forever that she did it for her books.
She didn't. Honestly, I just wanted to dye my hair a color. And the colors she had available when I went were like blue and green because she was like out of purple and red that day. And I was just like, green it is. Let's go. And then it just kind of stuck for a while. But, okay.
Well, I said you could do green contacts.
Colored contacts suck. they're very irritating. Because I have to wear, sometimes I have worn like actual contacts because I can't see without my glasses. Them things, they feel like ants in your eyes. I don't like it.
Listen, you saw I bought those green contacts to try and wear when I did the cosplay for your first book, and I fell off the chair because my finger was like, this is going in your eye, and my eye was like, no, it's not.
I mean, I can do contacts, but it's a lot easier when you have someone teach you how to put them in the first time. You go to the optometrist and they teach you like how to hold your eye open and how to put it in and how to get them out. It's a lot easier than just trying to figure it out at home for the first time. Because getting them in is not the hard part. Getting them out is the challenge.
I
So,
don't think I can do it. Just stick with my glasses.
that's the way to go. That's the way to go. But that being said, I'm going to let you guys know that we actually do not have anything planned, like topic-wise, for the Melanin Chat today. Mostly because I've been on vacation. And I've been minding my business because I'm really good at that. So I actually have just been kind of, if you are part of the after chat, then you've been in the Discord, so y'all know what's been going on. And there have been a couple of things that I had opinions on, but I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just keep this to myself. But one of the things that I kind of wanted to know y'all's opinion on, and I just need to know if I'm a little unhinged up here, because one of the things that went on in the chat while I was minding my business, right? Apparently, there was a YA book. I don't remember the name of it, but apparently they decided to have a spicy artwork, not safe for artwork, as their pre-order print for a young adult novel. And apparently, some people were like, oh my God, I'm going to go read the book just because it's got not safe for work art. And part of me is like, you realize this is for teenagers, for children, for minors. You guys don't think it's weird to be like sexualizing minors as adults? Like that's kind of weird. It's kind of goofy, don't you think? But some people were really like, "Oh, it's not a problem. It's fine. It's just characters." I'm like, y'all don't find that weird? Like, this is why we need a new adult genre, because apparently the whole thing about it was like the author of the book was like the characters are actually 20 in the book. And so people were also pointing out that, hey, if they are 20 in the book, that's not young adult demographic, that's adult demographic or whatever. And so I'm always just interested, especially in that part of the conversation, because in case you guys didn't know, We're the Origin, We Are Dying Gods, Brandy is 21. So she's very much in that We Are the Origin very easily falls into that crossover between adult and young adult. So it's got like a young adult-ish cover vibe, but the content itself leans towards more of the adult side. It's nothing explicit as far as like sex or anything like that, but there is violence on the page. So I'm curious, like, what's your opinion on that, on both the not safe for work art for young adult, but also the 20-year-old protagonist being classified as young adult?
Well, I mean, when you're 18 by law, you're considered an adult, but it's definitely you're definitely a young adult at that point. You haven't really ventured world, or you're just starting to venture out in the world because you're heading into college, and or you're heading out to the world into the workforce if you decide not to go to college. So, but there's still, I don't know, because when my daughter was in middle school, before I pulled her out to homeschool her, I mean, a friend of mine whose daughter was like 2 years ahead of her was like, yeah, these kids in middle school, they are having sex. They are, they are not the kind of middle school kids that we were. And I am not at all saying it is okay to sexualize kids, because a kid is a kid to me. These kids out here doing stuff they don't have no business doing, but they're still kids. But I don't know, once you hit 18 and the law sees you legally as an adult, I think you have to walk carefully when you're advertising for those kids, because you will have some kids that are older emotionally than 18, and you'll have some that aren't. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn with that.
I think my kind of perspective on it is the fact that the young adult genre as a whole starts at 13. So it's like, I think it's fine to have older, like more mature content in young adult books for sure, because there's a demographic that goes from 13 to 18, and that's a huge demographic to cover for one genre. But I think the issue starts to come in with, even if it's in the book, I think the nuance of the conversation comes in with, okay, yeah, teenagers are going to be teenagers, and there are a lot of teenagers who become sexually active, like around that, somewhere in that young adult range, 13 to 18. There are a lot of kids who do. That's just reality. But I think there's a difference between the argument that was being made, rather, to kind of clarify my thoughts, linear thoughts. The argument that was being made by the author or people online, I don't even know if it was the author or not. I'm not going to claim that. But one of the arguments online that was being made was that, you know, people who aren't okay with sex being in YA books are like pretending like they've never seen fan fiction or AO3 or Wattpad or whatever. And I'm like, well, the difference is, if it's perfect, I don't want to say perfectly fine, but like for the sake of argument, like it's different when a 14, 15, 16-year-old is sexualizing a 14, 15, 16-year-old, because that's their age range. Those are the people that they are attracted to. It is completely different for an adult person in their 20s or 30s or 40s to be sexualizing a 14, 15, 16-year-old to write a book about it because you think it's appropriate. There's a reason why fan fiction exists. There's a reason why those places exist for those teenagers to do teenager things. Like, you as an adult do not need to then be like, oh, well, they do it, therefore I can. You know what your teenager's also doing? Wearing crop tops and hot pants to go to the mall. And you know what you probably shouldn't be doing as a 40-year-old woman? Probably wearing crop tops and hot pants to the mall. I don't know, I'm calling them hot pants. I think I saw that on Pinterest somewhere, and now it's living in my head rent-free. But you get what I'm saying, right? There's just some phases of your life that you grow out of, and then you have to recognize that that's not for you anymore. Like, let the teenagers do what they are going to do. And if you want to write something with explicit sex in it, then like write adult fantasy. And then also Vina brought up something too that I know for a fact that I'm gonna touch on. So if y'all like writing any of this, what I'm about to say, like follow my career, because it's gonna happen. But she brought up the fact that there's even in adult fantasy, a lot of the main characters are younger. They're still like in their early to mid 20s. Like, I have very rarely seen an adult fantasy where the character is not 20 something or 30 something, right? And I'm just kind of like, I would love to see that expanded beyond just, oh, in order to be magical, in order to be the chosen one, you have to be basically completely unknowledgeable about the world and straight in, like, fresh into adulthood. You know?
Well, Jay Monet has a good point. Young adult shouldn't be synonymous with teen. Exactly. I don't see teens as young adult. I see teens as teens. I see young adult as, well, it's kind of murky when you get to 18, because 18, like I said, the law sees you as an adult. So I would say from 18 to 22, 23 to me is young adult, new adult. And then, because once you hit 25, then you're an adult. Yeah.
And honestly, that's why I classify the age ranges on the Melanin Library the way that I did, because it's just like, the thing is, and I feel like there's this gap. And the reason I don't like the young adult being so broad is because, you like what you and Jay said, there needs to be a teen, because there are a lot of people who don't read books. A lot of people who buy books for people don't actually read them first. They don't know the content of the book. They're just going based off, oh, this is who it's meant for. This is the section it was shelved in. This is the cover on it. But then they don't know what's actually like within it. And it's very, very easy to give someone a book that is way beyond what they should be reading at a certain age. So it's like, if you have something like whatever this book, I don't even know the title of the book, right? But if you have something like that where the protagonist is, 20, 21, but is marketed as young adult with a very young adult illustrated pretty cover on it, and you're like, oh, this would be really appropriate for my 14-year-old daughter, and it's just like, it's probably really not, but you wouldn't know that because the way that it's marketed, you would think that it was. And it's just I
think it would be better if they did it the way that Jay is saying, that if they did MG, middle grade teen, new adult. I wouldn't even say put young adult. I would say put new adult and then adult, because I feel like then that unmuddies the waters.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
the only thing with that is I think new adult is accurate because of what you said earlier. When you become 18, I saw a tweet somewhere, right, where it's just like, when you're a kid, it's like you've only been alive for 5 years, like you've only been a person for 5 years. But then when you turn 18, it's basically like starting over, like you've only been an adult for less than a year on your 18th birthday. By the time you're 20, you've been an adult for 2 years. You have nothing figured out. You're literally just figuring out how to do things. And
Mhm.
so as you get older, you become adultier. And then I think that's why you need, like, new adult was such an accurate term, but so many people just see new adult as young adult with spice. And it's just like, it's way more than that. Like, mentally, developmentally, you're not, just like a 14-year-old is not the same as an 18-year-old. Oh, and it's just a 4-year difference. An 18-year-old is not the same as what, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It's not the same as a 22-year-old. Again, it's just a 4-year difference, but that is a
Mhm.
huge 4-year difference,
That's
especially until
huge.
you get older.
Mhm.
So it's just, nah. I'm going to keep saying that my books are new adult. That's what they are. But I feel like publishing is so archaic in a lot of things, in the way that they push things and the way that people perceive things. And it's just, ugh. Nah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sitting here trying to read all these comments.
Yeah. And then, I saw one that was from Samantha. Hold on, let me see it. Yeah, she was like, teens writing their idea of spice for their own peers is fine. That is their space, but it shouldn't be with the adult audience's enjoyment in mind. And I think that's the thing that's weird. That's why it's such a touchy topic, because it's just like, the thing is, a lot of readers are women, right?
Mhm.
That's just a statistical fact. A lot of readers, especially of young adult, are women. And it's very weird for a grown woman in her 30s, 40s, whatever, to be like, oh, I want to read about these two teenagers having sex together. That's weird. And the thing is, if you're like, oh, well, it's just a book, oh, it's just a story, it's just like, but if you were to take a grown man and for him to say, oh, I want to see these two teenagers having relations, you'd be like, oh,
Mhm.
you're a predator. Ooh, there's something wrong with you. Lock them up, throw them under the jail. And it's like, ooh, it's the
Mhm.
same. It's the same sentence coming out of the same mental mindset. One's a man and one's a woman. And it's just like the fact that people try to confuddle that, like, oh, it's a book. Oh, it's not really that hurting anybody. And it's weird. It's very weird. If you want that,
Mhm.
there's a whole genre of erotica that is literally just for that, of two consenting adults having relations. just
Mhm.
just go read that. Why do you need to read about teenagers? That's, I don't know. It's just goofy. It's very goofy. And Cameo pointed out that it's like the public pool. The kid pool is for kids. And
For the
I'll
kid.
and I'll even go so far as to say that if you know that there are going to be children, you dress and handle yourself appropriately. Like,
Mhm.
if you're going to a public pool at 12 o'clock in the middle of the summer when school's out in the middle of the day, I don't know,
Mhm.
maybe not dress and act as if you are going to a lounge pool bar at, 2 o'clock in the morning in, like, I don't know, fucking New York or Atlanta. Sorry, language. My bad. Y'all get what I'm saying, though? Mom, Miss Tracy, if you're watching, I'm so sorry. Anyway, that being said,
Lord Chelsea.
I'm trying, man. I'm so trying. I'm trying to keep it together. But the
Oh,
way my brain is just like, what are we doing? Huh? What? Literally, my brain is that person who showed up to work and it's just like, I don't even know what we're doing. Where's the supervisor? And I'm like, you are the supervisor. Help me. Help me.
DL says Mama knows you grown.
She does. My mother knows who I am in truth. But yeah, I just thought that whole conversation was interesting, to say the least. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, y'all are interesting out here on this internet. This is why I keep to myself. This is why I be in my little corner, minding my business. But that being said, I do have a question for you, and it's something that has been on my mind. And I was talking to Ben about it while I was gone, about possibly making a YouTube video about it. But since we're here in the Melanin
Okay.
Chat, I can get y'all's opinion in real time. how do y'all feel about the Melanin Library in the sense of it actually being a resource? Because I'm having serious thoughts about it. And I'll probably talk about it more in the after chat, just because there are some details that I just don't want on the internet at large. But I'm just curious, like, how do y'all feel about the Melanin Library? Like, in total honesty, do you use it? Do you tell people about it? Do you submit books to it? Or is it just like, it's there, but not necessarily something that you use on a regular basis, or yada, yada, yada?
I do tell my guests to check it out. I don't know whether they do or not, but I do suggest for them to put their book on the Melanin Library as well. I go to your website if I want to look for a book to read by a Black author, and I just don't know what I want to read, but I know I want it to be somebody Black. I go there because then I don't have to worry about, is this author Black? So that's how I use it.
Gotcha.
So. La said the last couple of books she got were from the Melanin Library.
Okay.
And Samantha says, I love it. I've been telling people about it in my recent vlogs.
I use it a lot more than my wallet would let me. I appreciate that. And so I know it's there. It's not top of mind. Okay, that's fair. So the reason I'm asking is because, we'll talk about that in the after chat. I was just curious. And I'm also curious, like, if you get books from the Melanin Library, is it more so like you find a book on the Melanin Library and then you get it from like whatever platform you were going to get, or you actually purchase it using the affiliate link on the Melanin Library? That's something else that I'm curious about.
I've never bought anything from it. I've just like seen, I just look for books, and then I don't know, I'm going to get it for my Kindle. I should probably click your link. It's not often that I have bought. I just go and look for stuff to read, and then I'll just add it to my TBR or something like that. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Samantha said, I think now more than ever, with the way pricing is changing for indies, I think it's a great resource for readers and for authors to reach wider audiences. Okay. I promote the Melanin Library pretty regularly whenever people ask for book recommendations. I appreciate that. I check it out all the time. I've gotten a few this year to add to my TBR. I just forget. I don't see it. I forget about it. No, that's real. Out of sight, out of mind. I feel that. I search around for things that might sound good, then I use the affiliate link. Okay. I was actually browsing it the other day. I would love to see some more indie stuff on it. And so, okay, so this is kind of a thought that I can definitely share. Basically what Vina said about the indie books. It is really hard to find indie authors and then get their stuff on the website, because a lot of times their book information is not all cohesive. It's not all in one place in order to get that information. And even reaching out to indie authors, one of the hardest things with the library is getting people to add their books. And one of the things that I try to encourage authors to do, especially indie authors, is to add their own books, because they have all of the information. Whereas whenever somebody else adds it, it's like, okay, it's a lot of research that has to go into it to make sure that the information is correct. And then we usually end up getting an email being like, hey, this isn't up to date. So it's like, part of the reason that I created it is I wanted more indie books on the website, but it's also the books that you hear about, the books that you see, the books that are kind of taking over social feeds a lot of times are traditionally published books. So one of the things that I've been considering is just exactly that, like how to get more books on the library, how to get more authors engaged with it, how to get more readers to know it's a resource, because it's a whole up and down thing in my mind. And if you know me, then y'all know I have a love-hate relationship with the Melanin Library, because it's a lot of work. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. I just want to sit in my corner and write books. But then the other part of me is like, but this is a resource, and I'm glad that people have it. So I'm curious. I'm always wondering like what people think and how they actually use it, because that's information that, like, obviously if I was a larger company, then I could just like run surveys and have somebody doing research, yada, yada, yada. But Melanin Library is like 3 people. So it's just kind of like, this is really the only way that I kind of figure out how people use it, et cetera, et cetera. My brain stopped in the middle of that sentence, but y'all get where I'm going with that. When people ask
Well,
for,
I think one thing I could do is that I could add it to, but people don't read their emails. But I could add it to the email when I send authors their thing saying the show is live. I could add something in the email saying, please consider adding your book to the Melanin Library. I could do something like that. But people, like I said, people don't read their emails, and I tell people stuff after the show has been recorded, but people don't remember stuff. So
yeah, it's one of those things where there are a lot of different aspects to the Melanin Library where I'm like, I'll say this, I have hit a wall with like, okay, so what am I supposed to like do with it? Because I know that people know it's a resource, but it's also like it's a resource that only works if it supports itself. And it's very difficult to be like, hey, please pay for this thing that's free.
Right. Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at. And then also just getting people to know about it, because the affiliate link is part of the reason why the Melanin Library can even support itself as much as it does right now. And I know for a fact that there are. So I'm just curious about what can be done, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, it's something that I'll have to give some more thought to. And like I said, I'll probably talk about it a little bit more in the after chat specifically, because there are some things that I want to pick y'all's brain about, especially if you are part of the after chat and you're helping to support. So yeah, don't let me forget to do that. But my brain keeps talking.
Do you post about it a lot on like Twitter? I know you don't use Instagram, but do you talk about it on Twitter and TikTok at all?
See, the thing about it is, no, because I did at first. But the thing is, I've talked about this before on the podcast and like on the YouTube channel and like just in general. But one of the things that I struggle with the Melanin Library is the fact, like I said, there's only 3 people. There's me, there's Ben, who does most of the like, I'll say the clerical stuff. He's the one who's like approving books and, making sure that everything stays cohesive or whatever. Then there's Fred, who is the web developer. So everything on the front facing end, the social media, the newsletter, talking about it, the ideas for the website, all of that is like, that's my job. And the thing is, I write books. Like I have other things that go on that have to take precedence. And it's just like when you have Instagram, just say Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, right? There's 3 platforms. When it's just my stuff, it's like, okay, cool. I can post my stuff across 3 platforms and I can make a TikTok video, do whatever, boom. But for the Melanin Library, it's a lot more difficult because those 3 platforms then become 6 platforms. And then that one newsletter then becomes 2 newsletters. And that becomes an all-day task, especially since for the Melanin Library, it really needs consistency. But the thing is, chicken and egg situation, right? It's like, I need help, but I can't get help until I can make money. I can't make money until I can promote it, and I can't promote it more until I get help. So it's just kind of like this cycle of, okay, so how do I make this work? Because as much as I enjoy the Melanin Library, the reality of it is I don't make any money off of the Melanin Library. Like the money that I get literally just supports the Melanin Library so that I don't have to shut it down. But that being said, I can't do it full time and work for free, which means I have to put time and energy and effort into like writing my books and promoting it, because that's how I actually make money. So it's like that has to take precedence. So then it just kind of like starts to slide off, and it's just like, That's why if you follow the Melanin Library on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, any social media, it's not very active. Like, I post when I can, but that is not very often. It's like maybe once a month, maybe. And it's just kind of like what DL said. It needs a dedicated person, but dedicated person requires dedicated money, and dedicated money requires money in general. So that is the struggle that I'm in right now. So I'm always like, okay, especially coming off of this vacation, kind of like what I said before, at the beginning of this, of like on vacation, I just realized how much it is that has to be done that I do. And part of the reason why I'm like still tired, even coming off of a week long break, it's just like it's a lot. It's a lot. And just coming back to it, it's just like, yeah, okay. And I don't know, it's very hard to continue doing something because I've been doing the Melanin Library. It went live in 2019, I want to say. No, 2020. So it's been like 3 years. So I've been doing this plus writing, plus podcasting, plus the Melanin Chat, plus interviews, plus editing, plus book formatting, plus mentoring for like 3 years straight at this point. And of those things, the Melanin Library does not help support my life, my household, anything financially. And to the point where it's just like, even like our household, like my personal household, has to help to make sure that it stays alive. So it's just like, I just want to know that people actually find it useful, if they actually use it, if they actually talk about it. Because if not, you know. And I also recognize that we're in 2023, and when the Melanin Library launched in 2020, it was a completely different social atmosphere. That the reality of it is that like support for things for people of color, there's high spikes and then it kind of wanes off until something else unfortunately tragic happens, or the conversation comes back up again. So I'm also just wondering if it's like one of those things and how to balance it. But yeah. Does the Melanin Library have an import feature? Can you explain what you mean by that? Because I'm not sure what that question means.
And DL says sometimes you get to a point where you have to focus on what matters most.
That part. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, especially going into 2024, because there are things that I want to do. There are things that I want to do to support Black authors, especially Black indie authors. But all of those things take money, and then kind of watching how other people have done things, it's just kind of like, part of it is, okay, I see where things went wrong, and I would definitely, if I do something, I want to make sure that I'm not making the mistakes that other people have already made. But on the flip side of that is like, I also see how people talk about things when they don't go perfectly and smoothly. So I'm also a little bit not, I'll just say cautious in trying to like tread carefully before making any decisions, especially ones that require a significant amount of investment up front to make it happen in the first place. Let's see here. Can books be imported to the Melanin Library directly, like Storygraph lets you import books from Goodreads? No, it doesn't do that, but there is a submission form, which is why I try to get authors to submit their own books, because the submission form is super simple, y'all. Like, it's not anything crazy. It's literally, you just go and you need all you need is, if you're the reader, is you need the title, and the author. Those are the only things required if you're a reader. If you're the author, we ask for the title, author, release date, and the cover, and what genre it is. That's pretty much it. It's not a complicated form. And then all we do on the back end is we just confirm that, you know, on your website or whatever, like, you are actually a Black person, because it's for Black authors. That's it. It's not very difficult, but it takes like maybe 3 minutes to submit a book. Not even, if you have all the information. But I don't know if that import feature is the part of the problem. I don't know. There are a lot of thoughts that have gone back and forth in conversation about what the Melanin Library needs to kind of get more people engaged with it. But all of those things comes back to the root of the problem. Money. It's like, we can do certain things, because one of the things that we had talked about was having like a reader interface, so you can actually make a TBR, so that you can leave comments and rate books and all right? Problem with that is you have to have a sign-in. Sign-in means that you have to have a server to host those things, and it comes with certain privacy things that you have to make sure are in order, which costs money. So it all comes down to it, and it's just like, I don't know, which comes first. Do we make the investment and then hope people use it and then it pays off, or vice versa? I feel like I'm getting into serious entrepreneur talk, but this is one of the things that I've been thinking about over the break that I was just curious about. And it's not something that is unique to me, because as Vina pointed out, you know, Melanin and YA was having the same type of money struggles. And the thing is, running a website of this size is a lot more difficult than I think people realize. It's a lot more work than I realized it was before I started doing it. All the little things take time. And it takes effort. So getting the books to like just show up in the right category takes time. That takes work. Having the images show up and populate, because one of the things that I don't know if people notice, I notice, is that when you submit a book to the library, it's updated immediately in real time now. It doesn't take like weeks to update the site. So it's little things, but I just wanted to see if it's like, I don't want to say worth the time, but going forward into 2024, because, yearly, decisions have to be made. So, yeah. Anyway, I feel like I got off on a tangent, so apologies.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. It's all valid stuff. Venus says, I wonder if there's a grant you can apply for. Grants are so annoying because I've been looking for grants for my podcast, and there's a website that's for grants for Black podcasters, but they want you to buy a subscription to be able to see. And how do I know that what you have isn't stuff that I've already found on the internet that I can't apply for? Because like this one I found, it was perfect. And then when I got to the requirements, it said you have to have 50,000 downloads a week. If I have that many downloads a week, I most likely don't need your grant.
And that's the thing. And also grants are also, I don't know, they're hard to find just in general. And then when you do, it's like the deadline was a week ago. So,
or they have such crazy requirements that it's like I can't even apply because I don't meet their requirements.
Yeah, most of them are not for small businesses. That's just the reality of it. They want. The problem is you have to, how do I put it? It's kind of like YouTube, right? In order to get access to the features that would realistically probably help you make money, you have to have so much engagement to prove to the platform that you have enough people statistically to play the numbers game to actually be worth them investing in you making money. And with grants, a lot of it is the same way. So like if you want a grant for a podcast, you have to have so many downloads. If you want a grant for a website, you have to have so many visits. If you want even running ads on the Melanin Library, like there are ads on the site now trying to, like I said, offset some of the cost that it takes to run it. But even that, it's just like you can only run certain ads until you have a certain amount of visits to your website, and then your payout is different. So it's just kind of like if you are genuinely starting a business from the ground up with like no investment, it's a different, unique challenge than if you have a little bit of startup capital. I will say that for sure.
Yep.
And then Cammy was like, sounds like you're ready to grow into what's next, whatever that is. I'm rooting for you. I appreciate it. I don't know what's next. I know that there are things that I want to do and things that I want to do to support Black authors, because that's what I'm about. I just have to, I have to see what the next stage is going forward, because 2024 might be very different than what 2020 and 2021, 2022 have been. So, yeah. But that being said, I'm going to let that go because I feel like I'm sneaking up on territory that I'm just like, I don't know if I want that living on the internet at large. Point is, there's so much unpaid labor in trying to support these Black books. Yep. And I think that's the thing that gets me about the Melanin Library. It's just, I feel, okay, y'all don't want to say this on the internet? I'm going to say it because it's true. Sometimes helping people is so difficult because they don't want to help you help them. That is just the reality. It's just kind of like with the Melanin Library, it's a free resource. And all the things, like the Melanin Spotlight is like, what, $10 for like 30 days of advertisement. Very few people sign up for it. Same thing with the podcast ad. Like a podcast ad is like $15, not even. So it's just kind of like most people, even the small amount, it's just like, yep, don't want to help you. Even submitting the book to the library, I cannot tell you how many people have reached out to me in DMs or whatever, like, hey, will you read my book? And then when I ask them to go submit their book to the Melanin Library so I can help promote them, they don't want to do the work. They don't want to go to the website. I've had authors who I have talked to have been on the platform, and they're like, yeah, how do I submit a book to the library? Like, they've never even clicked on the submit button on the library before asking me how to do it. So it's just kind of like, I want to help you, but I can't help you if you don't do the bare minimum. It's kind of like with the podcast. If I ask you to send me your headshot and bio, help me help you. Help me help you, But a lot of people just, they don't. Either they forget, or it goes over their head, or they feel like it's not worth their time, and then they just don't. And it's just like, I'm not, kind of like what you said earlier about the indie books. It's not that I don't want more indie books on the library, but if you don't submit your book, I can't help you. And then sometimes, especially with self-published authors, like how the book is on screen beneath our video, it's just flat. It's just the cover image. Part of the reason why I ask authors to submit their own information is because a lot of times if you go to their websites, they have the 3D mock-up of their book on their website, which is fine, but I can't put that on the website. It has to be a flat cover because we have a template. We have a certain way that we present the books. So it's just like, if you don't have that anywhere, I can't help you, but you have that image. You made that 3D mock-up with the flat image. So you could just upload it and keep it moving. But it's a lot of labor. It's a lot of work. It's a passion project. It has to be. But then I also feel like if I stop, who's going to do the work?
Right.
That's part of it too. And also Cameo. Yes, you can buy ads for other people. You can submit books that are not yours. Like the site is there to promote people. Like if you, like, just using myself as an example, right? But if you were like, hey, I want to purchase an ad for We Are the Origin, like you could go to the website and purchase an ad for We Are the Origin. You don't have to be the author themselves in order to pay for it or whatever. Same thing with submitting the book. You can submit books that are not yours. If you're just like, hey, I was looking for this book on the library and it's not there, but I know for a fact that this author is Black, you can just submit the book and we will do the rest of the work to make sure that it's on the site. It's just that we can't be everywhere at one time. That's just the reality of it. And how many times you got to tell them you barely read? That part, like, especially the Melanin Library, like, y'all, I'm not finna read the book. I don't know what gave you the impression that I was going to read the book, but I'm not going to read the book. I support you from a distance, but I'm not going to read it. I just don't have time. Like, seriously, y'all. Between all the things that I do, by the time I'm done with the day, it's like 10 o'clock at night, and the way I'm not trying to read when I've been reading all day, it's not going to happen. And if I do read a book, it has to be, I won't say good, but it has to be good. Like, otherwise my attention span is going to go whoop, right out the door. So, that being said, because Audra likes it when I say that, apparently.
So let me ask, would it help if I just went, the indie authors that I have on my show, if I just went and submitted, or do you not want that? Is that going to create too much work for you?
No, like, that would have helped so much. Like, literally.
I will add that to my account, because I have things that I do in the morning, because I get up at 3:30. So there's like, when I'm from 3:30 to like 7, I'm in like task mode, like I'm editing, I'm doing stuff. So I can add that each time I have an indie author. I can just go with them.
Yeah, I mean, and they don't even have to just be indie. They can just be Black. That's fine. But yeah. And I think I'll add that to the list of things that I probably need to do in future Chelsea once I learn how to duplicate myself and clone myself and have two of me working at the same time. I'll just start like letting people know, because I also feel like that's a struggle too. Just letting people know that, hey, this is stuff that you can do. You can submit your friend's book or an author that you like. If you see that their book isn't on there, you can submit it. You don't have to have them do it themselves. Because I also feel like that's not something that a lot of people know, but I digress. We are coming up on an hour though. So, hold on. I'd really love to support any way I can to bring more traffic to the library. The resource you've created is not getting the appreciation it deserves. Thank you. I appreciate that. I have to brainstorm and sit with it, but for sure.
Do you mind? Do you mind if I post about it on Read It Black to Me and on Between the Reads?
Not at all. Like, if y'all want to promote the Melanin Library, that please do. The other thing that I'm really adamant about is I don't want the Melanin Library to be me. Like, there's a reason why I separated my personal brand from the Melanin Library. There's a reason why I don't like to post my face on the Melanin Library platform, because I don't want the Melanin Library to be me, to be Chelsea. That's not what I'm going for. So if people want to talk about it, promote it, share it, feel free. Do whatever you got to do. Please put it in rooms that I'm not in. I don't have to be in the conversation at all. Like, but if you start talking about We Are the Origin, mention me. But other than that, it's a resource. I want people to use it. And yeah, you threw me for a loop when you switched it up on that last video. I'm full of multitudes, you guys. You gotta stay tuned. Gotta be locked in. Okay. But that being said, you guys, for real, we are about at an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and remind you that if you have not made friends with the like button, go ahead and do that. Tapping it helps the algorithm know that you like content like this. If you also want to know when we go live every other Tuesday at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight. I don't know where we're in right now, but yeah.
Standard.
There we go. Eastern Time.
When we hit fall, then we'll be daylight. Okay,
so yeah. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. We'll be here. And after this, we are going to be doing the after chat. So make sure you sign up for the Patreon. Patreon.com/Written in Melanin. It's below Audra's Good Things book if you need the link. Also, there are links to both books and everything down in the description box below. If you want to buy my books, if you want to check out Audra's channel where she does Between the Reads podcast, if you want to sign up for her Patreon so you can support the podcast, if you want to sign up for my Patreon, whatever it is that you want to do to be great in this life, there's a link for it down in the description box below. So, thank you guys.
Not all the things to be great in your life in the link below.
I mean, just, you never know. You never know if you don't open it up. That's all I'm telling you. That's all I'm telling you. But thank you guys so much for being here. And yeah, until next time, you guys. I hope your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye, you guys.